Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Issues, a podcast in which I, A.E. Stuvey, interview folks about their favorite single issue of any comic book ever. In this series, I meet with fans and pros to discuss not only why they like a particular issue that they are sharing, but why comic books in general are an important part of pop culture. If anybody out there would like to be a guest, I love hearing about everyone's issues. Today, I'm meeting with Bobby Brown, who I originally met on Threads when I posted a question. I'm sorry, when I posted the question, all the comics readers out there, do you have a favorite single issue of a comic book? I'm not talking about a graphic novel. I'm talking old school floppy. I have one that pops up immediately when I think of this. It's X Factor number 87. You can read about that in a previous post on Substack. But today's guest, Bobby Brown, has a different comic he'd like to talk about. But before he does, would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Bobby. I'm a comics reader from the UK. Read comics weekly. I've been reading them for probably since let's say 2006. So nine, no, not 9 years. God, that's more than that. No, not don't do the math. It's like
This isn't a
nearly
math podcast. It's fine.
no, but yeah, 2006. I'm 27 now. It's been a very long time. Yeah, they mean a lot to me, and basically most of my personality.
I understand. Look at my
I
space.
know. I've seen it. I could see it on the background. It's amazing. I'm not allowed to put anything out, but that's fine with me because the just it's all tucked away in the long box is protected, and that's
I
fine
did.
by me.
Didn't you post on Threads a few days ago? Like this is what was it like 7,000 comics looks
No,
like?
I said, oh, it was way more than that. I said, this. If you ever wondered what 2,900 comic books look like in floppies, this is what it looks like. It was, yeah. It's imagine a king size bed. It's about half of that, which
It's amazing.
surprisingly, I can get another. If I get another 100, that'll be one of the boxes filled, and then I can have another. I don't know, 300. That'd be like no, 3,000. Sorry, that'd be like I don't know, 6,000 comics. But I don't know
Oh,
what I'm going to do.
maybe someday. Who knows?
Maybe someday, yeah. Well, it took me what since 2006, so maybe I don't know 20. Well, God, I'm not doing the maths again, but maybe another 20 years or so.
Since you're talking about it, I have to ask, you have is that your whole collection? Like,
That's my whole collection, but it's been curated and removed and added to over the years. I give a
mhm,
lot to my brother,
mhm.
who he started as well. He's got one blog box at the moment, but a few of them I've given back to comic shop because he will pay for them if they're in good condition and they're ones he thinks he can sell. I'll happily take
Mm.
them. But yeah, I try and keep it to what I love. It's like what I need, what I love, and what I want. Not if I'm not just I'm not. I don't want to just keep it just for heaven's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. I like that philosophy. I'm like that too. I always think, do I want to read this again someday?
Yeah,
And if I want to read it again, I'm gonna keep it.
yeah. It's more for me. It's like I'm reading it at the time to keep up, but if the
Mhm.
run itself ends badly or it just didn't really hit the mark, I'm thinking, do I need to keep this or can I make room for something else that's more beloved?
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
You're I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're less of a collector and more of a like a consumer. Like you buy what you
Yeah.
like and you
I
read
buy
what you.
what I like. Yeah, I consume stuff to keep. I read the stories of the characters I'm interested in, or
Mhm.
something by an writer or an artist I'm interested in. But if it doesn't fill the void or I enjoy it, I
Mhm.
do think about whether I want to keep it or not, and if I want to sell it or give it to my brother or do whatever with it. But yeah, I want to cultivate it. So like in the future, if I have it all stacked up on a wall, I can look at that wall and go, I love every piece of art on
Yes,
every piece of comic book literature on that wall. Do you know what I
that's
mean?
yeah.
And if it's
I
by end, it's definitely staying, no matter if it's good or bad. It's staying on the wall.
I love that. I love that. All right. Anything else like I know we talked about once like your history with comics. Do you
Uh,
share that? Do you want to wait and share that when we talk about your comics, or do
I
you want to?
think it's more related to what we were talking
Okay.
about. We'll save it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Bobby, for all that. Let's go ahead and, as everybody knows, at this point, before we get to your number one comic, I also like to hear your number three and your number two. So if you could just tell us your number three and explain why, and then your number two and explain why, then we'll get into the big show.
So my number three will be Jessica Jones by Brian Michael Bendis, as you can guess by my comment a minute ago.
Hmm.
Um, I think I spoke to you before about this. I read this book when I was about 10 or 9, which probably wasn't the best time to read it, but I loved it, and I still love it to this day. It was the original, obviously, when I say Jessica Jones, I mean the original Alias series and the
Hmm.
Pulse series that came afterwards. But they were just amazing at the time. It was I wouldn't say it's the first, it was the second time I read a book in the actual set in the original 616 universe.
Hmm.
So it was weird for me to come in from that point of view. It's very not like nihilistic, but very like it's not as good as it looks. But whereas I came in from there,
Yeah.
it was a weird perspective, but I liked it and I enjoyed Jessica. She was someone I'd like to have a drink with. Put it as that. Like she's just interesting, and she's got a lot of problems, but she's got a little bit of hope in her that you can kind of see. And she's dry and unhappy, but very human.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The grittiness of the whole story.
yeah. Exactly, the grittiness, and I liked that. Felt
Yeah.
very real to me, and it spoke to me even at age 10. But I already read. Well, won't get to talk about number one yet, but since reading that, this felt no different to me. I could get into it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I also liked that really that Alias, and I know it's about Jessica Jones, and that's great, but like
Mm.
really liked how it brought Luke Cage like back
Oh,
from like almost obscurity, right? He hadn't had a book since like the early 90s, and then
well, it was my first introduction to him, so I like this is the first time I saw him, and I was like, this guy's cool. He's like,
hmm
he's not really a superhero. He's just like, I do what I do. I do it for money, and I help my community and so that. And he seemed very honest in the book, and I really appreciated that. And probably no wonder why I liked them so much as a couple. Like well, I talk about that in my number two, but them as a couple is one of my favorites. Like I always root for them in everything, and if they're in anything together, I will always give it a read, no matter good or bad. And it's just, they're great. That's why I was so annoyed in the Netflix show. We got so close to it, and then he was off with Claire in his series, and I'm like, where's Jess? It needs to
right?
be. Why has this not happened yet? I'm still waiting for that to make a comeback. Well, with Devil Born Again, I'm hoping that will happen.
My gosh, I oh man, that would be great to see those two again as Luke Cage and Jessica Jones on screen.
Well, I keep waiting for it to be like we see the gap between when we lost them and now. I'm like, well, if they just have a kid, if they just see them again, they have a kid, that would be fine with me.
we
And
we
just
don't need
skip
to
all of
know.
it. And
Yeah.
just skip all of it, and then just be how I imagine them now, and I'd be like, that's completely fine.
I'm hoping is do you keep up I know and I don't keep up with Avengers like some other comics, but like Luke Cage was mayor of New York for
He
a while.
still is.
He's still mayor. Okay.
He's
I
been
mean,
mayor since Chip Zdarsky's run of Daredevil and the
mhm.
event Dark's Reign, and he is still mayor now. And it's great because she's obviously the first lady of New
Yep.
York.
Hmm.
She does not enjoy it from some runs I've read recently. There's the recent Century run. She's in that, and everyone calls her was it First Lady Mayor or whatever you call it, Mayor. I don't know what the term is in America,
I don't
but
either.
it's great because she's just like trying to do a detective work. She's like everyone's like, you can't do this, you can't do that because can't really be a superhero if you're like stuff like that. And it's really interesting.
That's cool. That's cool. I
Yeah,
mean, with what's going on in Daredevil Born Again, I guess it's a possibility.
it
Like,
is. I was like, there's no way they could pull that off, but they could pull that off.
you
I don't know.
know,
They could. Yeah, well, Bucky's a congressman if you're watching anything from Thunderbolts, so it's
right?
not likely.
Well, and uh what's his name? Michael Coulter, the guy who
Yeah,
plays Luke Cage, his
yeah,
the show that he was in for like 4 seasons, it just ended. Come on. Come on, Marvel. Like
yeah. Well, they're so secret about stuff. You never know what's going on. Like if any of them are asked, they're always like, I don't know, even though they definitely know.
they definitely know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a solid number three. All right. What's your number two?
It is New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis. Who would have guessed? It was the second book I ever read after my number one, and it was phenomenal. Probably my favorite Avengers run or story and
Mhm.
group team ever. It was just obviously it's the stupid thing. It's like let's get all the popular characters and put them together. but it was more than that. It felt something different to anything. I knew of Avengers, from like the cartoons and stuff like that. So I knew the basis of the team, and obviously the films hadn't quite. Well, the films would have probably started by then when I was younger. They would have. It was like 2012, so it was a bit after, I think, actually. But
Yeah, was Iron
yeah,
Man like
yeah,
29, 2009?
I think it was 2009. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, it was perfect for me. You had Spider-Man, you had Wolverine, all the
Hmm.
Luke Cage, Iron Man, Captain America, and Spider-Woman, who at first time I'd ever seen her before,
Hmm.
and it was just amazing. I enjoyed the run. It was non-stop Bendis, and it made me read everything. So we went through that to like Civil War, which I read everything before, and then you had Secret Invasion, you had Dark Reign, you had Siege. That was my main point from Siege. After that, I kind of fell off.
Hmm.
Started to feel more like normal Avengers, which is something I wasn't that interested in because I'd never really read it before. I was more
Hmm.
like, where's my guys? People I enjoy. But it was phenomenal. I mean, Century as well. I
Yeah.
read a Century comic before I read a Superman comic. So I have strong attachment to those people in that team. Probably why I like Jess and Luke. Like I said before, I like them so much because they were also in that book, which has led
Yeah.
me to read Elias in the first place. So it's just it's phenomenal, and some of his best writing, I think. I'm still hopeful that they bring something like that back. I've been hoping for it for years.
It'll happen someday. Like,
Yeah, something that loop around. I mean, there is a Godzilla book coming out recently with the new and the team is that team.
oh, cool.
I
All right.
know, and I was like, well, Shane Bender's can't write it, but I hope I'm going to read it regardless because it's
Yeah.
the team I like.
Hmm.
But
Because Bendis hasn't done much lately
well,
with like Marvel DC. He's just kind
no, he left DC, which I tried to jump over to have a look, but it wasn't quite hitting for me.
of.
I don't know. I DC. I normally read the big. I have all the old classic stuff. Year
Hmm.
One. You know, God, I forgot some of the names. Just like the classic quintessential Frank Miller stuff, the
Hmm.
big stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then really read them weekly unless someone points it out. Like some of Tom King's work I'll jump into, but I tried to jump into Superman. I was like, this isn't quite for me. It was a bit
Hmm.
weird, and I know some people said that they sort of butchered the John Kent his kid stuff, and I was like, leave it. And then Justice League as well. I was like, no, maybe I'll just stick to like once or a couple of like trades now and then. But he hasn't done anything since. I'm really wondering what he's been doing. I should really keep up with it since I'm like adore him so much. But I
Right.
don't be keeping the news.
I know
I
he's
would like
pretty
to come back.
active. He's pretty active on social media. I know,
Yeah,
like,
well, he's liked a few of my posts now and then, and
hey,
I was like, oh, because all I do is talk about him, so of course he's going to.
oh, you're famous, dude. You're famous.
I know, it was great. I literally was like, this is it. If I was like, getting to follow me, I think I'd die. But oh,
Oh, maybe someday. I'm
maybe
rooting for you.
someday.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. Well, I hope I can meet him one day, but he hasn't come to any of the cons in England yet for anything I can find. But I've been queued up about 3 times.
That surprises me that he hasn't come
He
over to.
probably has, but I only started going recently because
Yeah,
that's not something I had any inkling about. Like I didn't really know they were a thing here until recently.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're sometimes they're great, and sometimes I just want to leave.
I didn't even I wouldn't say antisocial, but like I just go there to buy book comics.
Yeah.
And I talk to people when I'm buying the comics and stuff, but all the other stuff because there's not a
Mhm.
lot of like big things here like you have in America, like trailers.
Yeah.
And the celebrities here, it's extortionate prices to meet them. I'm like, so I'm just going to go here, get my books, and I'm going to go to the after party because occasionally I say get drunk and then I'm going to go.
That's the way to do it. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like that. That's a good philosophy there.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, you ready? You ready to talk about number one?
I I am ready to talk about number one.
All right, let lay it on us.
It is Ultimate Spider-Man #1 by Brian Michael Bendis and Bill Singemus, with art by Mark Bagley and a cover by Joe Quesada. It was released in September 7th, 2000 by Marvel Comics. It's a part of a series that ran over 160 issues. That's not including Miles.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's right, because they kept it stayed the same title, just
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's going up to like the end of Peter's chapter without spoiling it for anyone that hasn't read it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. We won't spoil that because
Yeah,
it was big. It was
it's
huge.
groundbreaking for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm. Oh, well, tell us why. What is it about Ultimate Spider-Man?
Well, we're talking about the issue, what it means to me. Where are we going with? So I can't remember
Why
what the
why don't
structure.
you why don't you break down the issue a little bit and then
Yeah.
talk about what it means to you?
Well, the issue itself, what I like about it is it's basically based on the original first one by Stanley and Steve Ditko, I believe. Was Stan? US Steve wasn't Kirby.
Hmm.
And it really, it gives it depth. It widens it, gives you
Hmm.
more time to breathe with him. You see Peter as Peter way before any of the Spider-Man nonsense. You
Hmm.
get to see his life, his troubles, his relationships. It makes it feel more impactful. Like
Hmm.
you get more of him. You get to get more of a feel of Peter before you get a feel of Spider-Man,
Hmm.
like who he is as a person, what he's going through, his troubles, and I really relate to that as well. And his relationship with Uncle Ben as well
Hmm.
is and Aunt May, but mostly Uncle Ben is amazing. I hadn't in the films he always dies straight away, or
Hmm.
you get a little bit. You don't just get enough, but I feel in this you really get to live in it.
Yeah.
You get to experience it.
He's like a real character. Like, I don't know, do you know you don't read a lot of DC comics.
I know enough. I know more than the average person. I know
Okay.
enough to get by. You know what I
You
mean?
you know Kyle, the Green Lantern, Kyle
Oh,
Rayner.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And when he was introduced, his girlfriend was killed and like,
I
shoved in
Yes,
like the fridging.
frigging,
I
as it's the term's called.
I kind of think Uncle Ben was like originally the first fridge. Like he was created
Oh,
to die,
well,
and that's
yeah.
it.
Well, they say the only person that can stay dead is Uncle Ben.
Hmm.
I
That
think there
was
should be more than that, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
right, right. Like,
Yeah.
and I that's one of the things I really liked, like you said about Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, we got to see Uncle Ben as a real character with like
Hmm.
that wasn't perfect because in the classic Spider-Man stories, like Uncle Ben is like godlike in his
Messiah.
goodness. Yeah, right. And as I recall, like he gets upset with Peter a few times. He
Yeah.
yells a couple times, and oh, I'm sorry. He acts like a normal person, and then when he dies, like, sorry, spoiler alert.
If you didn't know that, then Jesus Christ, you're living on a rock.
Right, right. But I thought it was so much more significant to have him murdered after we
Yeah.
actually knew him as a person. Sorry, this
Yeah.
is I'm talking. You go.
No,
Sorry.
no, you're saying exactly the thing. I mean, what I will say as well, what does help it is the sharp and natural dialogue of the actual issue itself. I mean, without that, you wouldn't get this feel for it. I mean, Bendis works very well to make you see Uncle Ben as a person.
Hmm.
But if you don't, obviously, it isn't revealed in the issue. But if you know Spider-Man well, his parents wouldn't have died that long ago. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
Pete's what, like 13, I think. So
Yeah,
it's
something
like
like that.
and the series itself doesn't take it's not over a long amount of time. Spider-Man, he hasn't Spider-Man for very long.
Hmm.
Like is in this and like so you really get to live. And like he like how do I explain it? Like they are trying to work out how to be parents. They're still working on it. Like they
Hmm.
never yeah, and they're older as well. So they're
Yeah.
struggling with him. And it's a real relationship. You can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't think this is in the first like the first issue or the first
No.
like arc, but like I'm pretty sure there's a point in the comic where Aunt May talks about how like they never even wanted kids and
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. I know. It's in the Ultimate Clone Saga arc.
okay.
She talks about it with a certain person who I won't say either because
Hmm.
that'll spoil it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that is you really get to understand them as people. It's a phenomenal run. But yeah, she talks about it then, and you could really feel in this. You could feel the humanity in them, which
Yeah.
I at the time didn't realize. But reading it over the years and rereading it, you really get a feel of it. And if you know how the run goes as well, it's even more impactful.
Hmm. Yeah. That not to reveal anything, but when Aunt May slaps Captain America.
Oh,
Oh my God.
hey, what she this the Aunt May, the ultimate Aunt May, is probably I will say the best depiction of Aunt May. She
I
is. She's got so much. She's not just a damsel in distress, or she's not just baking wheat cakes. She's
yeah,
a tough woman. She's
yeah.
tough. She's a tough broad, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The best. Okay. So so Ultimate Spider-Man #1 kind of broke it down. It kind of slows down Peter's story. We get to meet Peter,
Mm.
and I think we talked about before, like you don't even see him with his spider powers until like the
No,
last
you don't.
page.
Like he gets obviously he gets bit, which
Hmm.
obviously is going to happen, and then the development of his powers happens very slowly.
Hmm.
Like by the end of the issue,
Hmm.
you only see him. You see him do a flip. You see him do a flip over a car. So
Hmm.
the Norman's there doing stuff, and then you also see him climb on the wall, and that's the end of the issue. That's all you get.
Hmm.
And you've not even seen the costume or anything.
Yep.
It's just Peter figuring stuff out.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
good. So good. And that
I
that
think
that last page, that splash page of him
yes.
like upside down, that's
Oh, it's
iconic. Like,
yeah. Mark Bagley as well. His art is great here, and it only gets better throughout the
hmm.
run. It gets
Hmm.
progressively better. You see him. I mean, he was already an amazing artist, but you really see him work and improve over the run, and the inks improve as well, and
Yeah.
everything just gets better over to.
Yeah.
I didn't mention last time we talked, but the relationship between Norman and Harry as well is perfect. It's
Hmm.
quintessential. It's the normal Harry and Norman relationship. But Norman as well
Hmm.
is. I mean, sometimes you try and see the soul in him of who he was, but he's this Norman. He's not a nice person. I was
Hmm.
going to swear, but I won't. But he's a mean guy. Let's put it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And you know, I always like complex villains, like I like to,
Yeah,
but the sad fact is there are people that are just bad. Like
yeah.
in the real, I mean, we over here in the United States are living that right now. Um,
You are definitely. I mean, on some route, sorry, but I read the news. You guys have got it tough right now.
right? Uh, but some people are just bad, and sometimes it's really cool to have a villain that's just like, just a piece of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, he's a real asshat. Like he's just a bad guy. But like the Norman in 616, like I sometimes I find him quite sympathetic.
Yeah.
He's not a very well man.
Hmm.
But in Norman in this, he's a monster, and you
Hmm.
can even see it in this issue. Like he's just like he's not a nice guy. The way he treats his son as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
Yes.
like I said, like I said before, this issue really gets the original issue and it stretches it out, expands it, it gives you so much more stuff to think on. It's a good blend of just good storytelling and a bit of nostalgia for people that have read Spider-Man before as well. I would
Hmm.
definitely say.
Hmm. That's what it was for me too, because I'm substantially older than you. Uh,
Yes.
so yeah, I grew up reading, the 616 Spider-Man, and when they
Mm.
they announced the Ultimate Universe, I was like, "Ooh, I'm intrigued." And it was really cool to see a new version of Spider-Man not bogged down with 50 years of continuity, you
Oh
know?
yeah. And it still holds up today. I think this run, it holds up now. Like I could definitely, if someone was getting Spider-Man, I wouldn't even say go back. Like I would say go back if you like that sort of thing. But some kids, I don't know if they drive. I enjoy the art style of the old. I've gone back and read them now, and I love them. But I think some kids now, like for example, my brother, I gave him that run, and
Mhm.
he thoroughly loved it. He thought it was amazing.
Mhm.
And you can translate over to the 616, and you would have no problem understanding the characters themselves.
Mhm.
It's great, and I reckon it will hold up the test of time for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we discussed the issue. Like, personally, what is it? What is it? Like, you gotta
Well,
give us that backstory. I know the backstory,
I know
but
you well. But put it, Peter is a young man who was bullied and wasn't really popular at school, and deals with a lot of grief, and that's something I can relate to as a person. I have dealt with a lot of grief in my time. I've had family members pass away, and it was tough, but I understand completely what he's going through and how he feels. And even as him now, I mean, he lost his parents, but obviously it's got worse to come.
Mhm.
And I can understand the bullying at school, like being picked on. I was picked on when I was quite young. I wasn't really like a sporty sort of like that sort of guy, but I was more like I liked my art, I liked my drawing, I liked my stories, I liked my nerdy stuff, and I
Mhm.
completely get that. I liked science as well, just like him. So I think I relate to him as on a personal level.
Mhm.
So it's that I can see in him, and I really relate to it. It just it makes sense. You can identify with him. I can understand his pain and what he's going through and
Mm.
what makes him think the way he thinks.
That's nice. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
All right, my partner's just come home.
Okay. Okay. Well, you've shared all that with us. Is there anything else you want to say about any of this?
Any of this? What about the issue itself? You mean, or
Yeah, about the issue, about any of the issues, about your relationship with comics.
it's just well, they just I just enjoy them. You know what I mean? They're so creative in the art and story. I enjoy reading them at the end of the
Hmm.
day. And like the good thing about them is like you can read. They go on for ages. You can read them and read them and read them, and the story, the character's always there. The history's always there.
Hmm.
Like I try it's every temptation. They keep the fundamentals, and I enjoy that. And Spider-Man's one that's close to my heart. Like
Yep.
it just yeah.
He's
And they've I never really had a community to talk about them when I was younger, so it was just me and the books,
mhm.
and loved it every moment, getting by as many as I could. And now I'm talking to you on podcasts, and I'm out there on threads and talking to people. It's become a new thing now. It's sort of like a I wouldn't say a renaissance, but it's like an evolution for me now. I'm really enjoying it even
Yeah.
more, talking to people and actually being able to communicate with people about it.
Yeah.
Because not
It's
a lot of people, there's nobody around here where I live apart from my local comic book shop.
yeah.
Um, the owner Andy, he's amazing. But he was the only person I could talk to about it, and now my brother, who I basically converted myself, so I had someone to talk to about it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I think with the films as well, people become more interested. But I'm mainly the guy people just ask questions to. They're like, "Oh, what's this about?" And I go, "Oh, this is thing," and I end up just babbling loads of nerd stuff they don't understand. But
That's a good guy to be though, right? People are
yeah,
coming to you for answers. That's
yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, this movie's coming out soon. Is it going to be any good?" And I'm like, let me check who it's made by. Yeah, it should be good. That one
yeah,
will be all right. That
I'll
one."
check it out.
Yeah, and then they say it's Sony, and I go, "Yeah, maybe miss it."
I'm not a big fan of the Spider-Man villain verse, are you?
I just think it's a bit pointless since there's no Spider-Man. It
No
just doesn't make
Spider-Man. What's what?
I mean, I give them Spider Verse. That's amazing. It's one of the best things they've made. I would doubtly say, but
Mm. Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. But that's gonna be part of the MCU.
Oh, they'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a student who recently did a breakdown of Sony's villain Spider-Man villain verse, and he made a little review video of it, and we posted it on our website, and it got so many hits. Like I was astounded at the number of people.
I was surprised as well when I got online. There's a lot of people that love it, and like people are convinced that the new trilogy is going to be involved with it, and I'm like, you guys nearly need to you need to read up on some of the stuff, like the reviews and how companies work, and like because
It ain't
I've given
happening.
there's some good elements in there that can be used, but the problem
Mhm.
is that Marvel and Sony don't always work well together.
Mm-mm. No,
You got to
no.
think about that stuff, and it gets a bit more corporate, and then it just becomes a bit sad, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Capitalism, yay.
Exactly. Uh,
Oh, all right. Well, Bobby, thank you very much for being on the show. Um, I hope you stick around for more episodes. Maybe we can have you back on again someday.
I would love to come back. You call me, and I'm there. Honestly.
Excellent. And next time I'll make sure I get all the scheduling right. You know, the time zone
Oh,
thing freaks me
it's
out.
not your fault. It's my fault for living in India. It's not your fault.
All right. Well, thanks again, and I'll let you know when this is posted.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.